And that's where infinite banking is a fantastic tool. Your money doesn't just sit parked like it could in your checking account. It's gaining every single day. Contractually, it has to rise every single day. And every single day, you have access to more money than you did the day before. For when those opportunities do come, you can be right out there at the head of the curve.
At IB Canada Group, we are your complete and independent source on the infinite banking concept, serving Canadians from coast to coast.
Hello. I'm Steve MacLellan, the financial engineer coming from beautiful Halifax, Nova Scotia. And I'm on the line with, well, a beautiful man himself, Glen Griffiths from Cowtown, Alberta. How you doing, Glen?
I am doing pretty good, Steve. Enjoying the sunshine, and it is clear skies. Not as warm as I'd like, but the sunshine is great for the mood.
Yeah, I know it seems sunny in Calgary. You know,
we get more of those days than not, so I'm thankful for that.
Sometimes cold, but it almost looks like you're in the Garden of Eden in the background.
Yeah, it's that never-ending money tree. Hope it just keeps on growing and growing.
Listen, for those watching, we are both proud members of the IB Canada Group, and we're both independent advisors. And we're going to talk a little bit about money mindset and obviously the infinite banking concept and how it aligns with a strong money mindset. When I started the industry and went independent, I really, as an engineer, treated money very much like math, but soon realized that, well, there is some math to it, but it is very, very emotional, right? And we have these strong unconscious bias to the way we feel towards money. And diving deep into the money mindset and the success mindset, I really discovered it comes down to three things: the why we feel the way we do about money. We either have a great relationship with money, or a bad relationship with money, or just an okay relationship with money. And one of my goals with my clients is to increase the relationship with money. And I found that a lot of times it comes from an unconscious bias from, our childhood, the way we were brought up. If I was to ask you, do you remember your first memory of money?
Sure, it was, we don't have it. Really, that was it. It's like, those people have it, we don't have it. And you got to work really, really, really hard to be able to get some, right? And that's been imprinted on me for a long, long time. And you start dealing with more and more successful clients and you see other advisors and you go, wait a second, I'm working hard, they're working hard. What's the difference? The mindset. Like, no, we're not going to treat this like a famine. There's plenty of this to go around. We're going to send it out and say, come back with some friends.
It's so true. And even with society, the way, we're taught a lot of times that money is, even finish this phrase, money is the root of all. And most people would say evil, but you and I know that it's the root of all good. You can do a lot of great things when you have a lot of money. You can help a lot of people out there. My first memory of money is, it's funny. My mom and dad had a piggy bank. It was a big plastic poodle dog. And we used to shake it, but I used to collect coins. And I remember, do you remember those octagon nickels? Those were the big ones. And then
Yes.
the quarters with the Mounties on them. So I had a nice little coin collection. And one of my dad's friends came in and traded some of my coins for a shiny penny, right? And at first that was great, but then I realized I got dubbed. And I'm sure he gave me back. I'm sure it was a big game. But from this day, I don't like shiny things. The other thing I've seen with the way we feel about money, it's really the social media and the life pressures that we have.
Yes.
Right. And who's kidding who right now, especially with Instagram and Facebook, it's like keeping up with the Joneses on steroids.
Yes, it is. It really is. It's who can outdo who, right? And one thing we realize, it's kind of funny, the ultra wealthy don't do that, right? They talk about Steve Jobs. What is Steve Jobs? Have you ever seen Steve Jobs in a fancy suit? Typically, I'm not saying he shouldn't wear one, but it was just not that important because he was doing other things to create even more wealth, not just for himself, but for others.
Right. He was focused on getting things done and focused on, he wasn't focused on the competition, what everybody else was doing. He was focused on what he was doing. Right. And I think it's never been so easy to be successful as it is today, but it's never been so easy to be distracted, right? There's a lot of noise out there. And obviously there's a lot of noise in the financial industry as well, right?
There is.
If you were to have a beef with the financial industry, what would it be?
People are out there just selling, not necessarily providing solutions, just selling, right? And what may plug a hole temporarily may not be the best solution. And it may not even be the one the client would pick if educated. So really, it's lack of education transferred from advisor to client on their options, and then helping them provide solutions, right? As opposed to doing a quick product placement. That really is.
I agree. And that's, again, I think one of the reasons you and I decided to go independent was the industry. Listen, I met a lot of great people in this industry, and they do have the goal to help one another out or help their clients out. But unfortunately, they have their almost have handcuffs on because, well, just think about it. Someone at the bank, lots of nice people work at the bank. But if they do what's best for their client, what's going to happen to them?
Might be a few reprimand letters, and you might be out the door looking for a job if you do that too often.
Exactly, right? So they can't necessarily always do what's best for their clients. And unfortunately, the same is with a lot of financial firms, right? They have quotas to reach. And if they don't have those quotas, they get let go, right?
Sure.
So it can be very difficult to figure out what is the right thing to do because there is a lot of noise out there. But that's what I like about the IB Canada group. Again, we've been advisors. We've worked at firms. We know what works and we know what doesn't, and we help. We more or less become a guide for our clients. You know, like our clients. You were talking about your wealthy clients, and they are the major key to the success. They are their major asset, but we are more like their guides to help them get to that happy ending, to make sure that they don't lose everything that they work for down the road. Would you agree with that?
Definitely. I mean, when we look at the word, it's funny you say that, Steve. We look at the word advisor. A lot of people say they're advisors, but at the end of the day, we really are when we're doing this properly, because people will come to us and rely on us for good information on how to make major decisions in life. And we generally have stuff to add that they haven't really thought of or seen that way. So when you develop a relationship, which is what most of us who have the type of clients we want do, you become an advisor. They say, I'm thinking of doing this. What's your thought? As opposed to, I just need this product. Can you sell it to me or not? Whole different thing.
Yeah, it's a big thing. And one of the things I noticed, again, between the wealthy and the ones that want to be wealthy is instead of trying always focus on growth and rate of return, really great advisors help those protect themselves from themselves and to focus on not losing the money. Because who's kidding who? Once you have a good understanding of how money works, it's easy to make money. The hard part is to keep it.
You know what? Preservation is a huge part of what we do, right? And we haven't really got into it yet, but the infinite banking concept is the ultimate preservation tool, right? That money is going nowhere. You control it for the rest of your life. And, you can deploy it as you need to.
Would you have a standard definition of what the infinite banking concept is? How do you describe it to?
I break it down like this. I say, picture starting your own bank, right? And you're going to go out and you're going to start up this bank. And of course, you want capital. So you got to put some money in there, because ultimately for it to survive, it's got to build up money and then have customers. The beauty of it is, just like a lot of things, you're going to be your first customer. Oh, your main customer, right? But isn't it nice to know that when you need to go and access some money, because you know the owner, nobody's going to tell you no or question you on what you need it for, right? And you know that that institution is there to fund your endeavors throughout your life for the rest of your life, and you are the board of directors. What do you mean by that? Well, nobody's going to tell you no on a decision because you have control of that. And you do such a good job of this bank that it keeps on making money. There are no bad years. Have we looked at commercial banks, even in a pandemic? Are we seeing record profits? Because they know how to run their business. Well, you can do that on a smaller scale and just be the CEO, the borrower, the lender, and the project manager. And people go, what? I go, it's control. You get to control every dollar in that facility for the rest of your life. How does that sound? Right? And I just get a strange look. That's too, that sounds too airy fairy. I'm like, well, it does happen. That's what we do.
Well, looking back at my 20s and early 30s, I wish I came across this concept. Oh, so long ago. But, being an engineer, and I don't know if you know many engineers, we always feel we know the best about everything, right? And I was doing my own finances for a while. And in 2008, 2009, I actually lost my job. So one of the things I was taught as a young lad was to put all my money towards my house. So I was paying off my mortgage as fast as I could. Lost my job in 2009, had a ton of equity in my house. But do you think I could touch that equity? Would the bank give me permission? Not at all, right? And if it wasn't for my girlfriend, who's now my wife, and a guy that hired me to do some landscaping, geez, it was a very tough time. I was unemployed for almost 8 months, right? So I took a financial, I said, I'm going to get my finances in order. And I ended up buying a bunch of real estate. But what happens a lot with real estate is you save, you put a down payment, and that money is gone. Where with the infinite banking concept, now that I know, this is how I purchase new investments. This is how I purchase vehicles. This is how I, when this crazy real estate bubble goes away, or there's some more value in homes, I'll be looking at using this to purchase more homes. But I really look at it as a way of regaining that interest that you would have given away to the banks, and you can recapture it yourself, getting that true compound growth.
Steve, I'm glad you shared your story, because a lot of my clients, and we've come across a lot of people who are taught the same way: pay down that thing as fast as possible, pay off as much as possible. But what we're not really told is that safe kind of goes one way. Those doors, when you stick something in, it doesn't open this side. Well, you build up all that equity, and if you're not careful, you're basically building equity for the next owner. Now, it sucks to hear that, right? But it's the truth. Now, until you have that thing totally paid off, you don't really fully own it in that sense. But using the infinite banking concept, we can use that as a warehouse to either dump more money down on the mortgage, as you say, or hey, maybe in rough times and everybody's going through it, there's opportunities that you can deploy that capital to do something else. But having the control is so important, because you don't have to go ask anybody to help you out, especially when now you don't qualify to access your own cash, right?
Right, because who's kidding who? Life does happen, right? And
continually.
I feel we're at a tipping point. Like the infinite banking concept, even though it's been around for a long time, it's still a relatively new term to most Canadians. Why do you feel that? And what can we do to change that?
It is a relatively new term. I mean, up till a few years ago, I hadn't heard of it. Myself, and I've been an advisor for, I was going into my 20th year. I had not heard of it till a few years back. And it's a relatively new term. And of course, we give credit to our Nelson Nash, who basically discovered the concept and made it popular. But that happened in the US. I think YouTube has been a great source of information to help equalize what's going on out there. Now, mind you, there's some out there that we should skip, but it's hard to tell what's what as you go through. We have made it our mission to make sure every Canadian hears about this. Now, we're not naive. We know not every Canadian will take advantage of it, because that's just how life is. But we want to make sure every Canadian hears about this, learns about it, and knows that they can have a huge part of control of their financial lives going forward, so they can make better decisions for themselves and their families. And let's face it, not only is it going to benefit their families, it's going to benefit the whole country, all right? Because a concept like this, it's not something we could keep to ourselves if we wanted to, and we're just not built that way.
No, I totally agree. And I feel the reason why it's been held back so long is, well, the conversations we've had before. most advisors or most financial institutions are product pushers. And this is more of a concept. This is a strategy, right? So it does take some involvement. And there are some, infinite banking groups out there. What makes the IB Canada group, we like to be proud, but what makes us different? And even, I would say, even better?
You know what? As I said, we dealing with the client and doing what's in the best interest of the client at all times. Now, I'm not saying that those guys aren't trying to do that. I'm just saying we collaboratively look at things together. We'll bring scenarios in front of each other right across the country, right across the country. And we'll say, hey, I've got this situation. What do you guys think? And you get different perspectives and you get some unique insight that can help you build a better program for that person. So we're not saying, okay, we got to use this company all the time because of this. We're saying, if this makes sense, we're going to go in this direction. And this is what you can do. And then this is your means to have access going forward, as opposed to only having one way that we talk about.
Yes. Right? Yeah. There's more than one way to peel a potato. And the infinite banking concept, we use a properly structured whole life policy to really act as the bank, because it's vested. It never goes down. It's secure. It's been around before Confederation. And the fact that we've been talking about, the majority of advisors don't even talk about whole life. Maybe the 10% have been in the industry for so long that they sell it very insurance heavy, where you can actually have a cash portion of this in very light insurance and getting that cash working for you very tax efficiently. And again, vest it where it grows. And that's what we've been trained to do here at IB Canada Group, is to do what is most flexible and what is best for the client. And we have a huge array of different insurance carriers to use. It's not just one.
That's exactly it. And again, as you said, Steve, what's best for the client?
Right. And how would you say the infinite banking concept aligns with the powerful mindset?
It is, how'd you put it? It's the backbone. As Nelson puts it, it's your warehouse of wealth, right? You've got your warehouse, your storehouse that is there, your war chest. Let me back up a little for a sec here. Right now, we talk about the bubble of housing. A lot of people are just running out and buying because, some we need housing, some just don't want to miss out. They don't want to miss out. They're in the feeding frenzy. Well, most wealthy people are going, yeah, this is past the point of profitability. We're just going to wait for things to drop. And while we wait, what do? We're going to keep building up our storehouse, our war chest. So when there's opportunity, we can deploy the funds that we've been saving up. And that is where the true opportunity to make money is. And that's when we talk about mindset. Just like with the Instagram, we're not feeling we're missing out. We're recognizing that the best opportunity is probably not here right now. So let's just get prepared for the next time. And that's where infinite banking is a fantastic tool. Your money doesn't just sit parked like it could in your checking account. It's gaining every single day. Contractually, it has to rise every single day. And every single day, you have access to more money than you did the day before. For when those opportunities do come, you can be right out there at the head of the curve.
Oh, man, that is so right. We're talking about mindset, and another portion of our mind is the way our mind works. And the majority of our brain wants us to be safe. They don't want us to do anything risky or anything that we don't know about. But when you have a good understanding of this, you realize it's one of the safest and most efficient ways to grow your money. And it will totally align with your mindset, and those habits, those really good habits will align and will eventually become your philosophy of your success.
True.
Well, listen, really, I'm always amazed here by it's 2021. It's amazing. You're in Calgary. I'm in Halifax. We're chatting. Do you remember the movie Total Recall, where they pick up the telephone and it's a video call? We're living in the future, but in Total Recall, they have a cord on the phone, but we're doing it real time.
1988. I remember that.
How can people get a hold of you to learn more about the infinite banking concept and your services that you provide?
really, to understand more about what we provide, you should check out ibcanadagroup.ca. That's ibcanadagroup.ca. And that is where you will see a collaboration of us. And you'll see that there's advisors right across the country. So there's someone within your backyard, even though this is probably going to be your best means of communication. But more importantly, we've got some information we think you should consume first. You're going to find some videos there. You're going to find our masterclass and our Q&A with none other than Steve doing one of those parts, and he did it masterfully. I say with a play on words. And you'll get a basis of this concept. You get a basis and understanding of why we're so excited, why this is catching on so much. And there's a bunch of information there. And then from there, you can locate an advisor, or if you've, if you're referred there by Steve, you talk to Steve, you talk to myself. Any one of our advisors across the company or across the country will be glad to help you, because as we said, we collaborate to make sure we can help Canadians get in a better position.
Hey, well said, Glenn. It's a real pleasure to be working with you, Glenn.
All right, Steve. Thank you. It's been awesome, Till.
Take care.
You too.
IB Canada Group, your independent authority for information on the infinite banking concept.